Hey, 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 all my crafty friends. We're back with another card this week. And look at that. Here we are, already doing fall cards. Are you kidding me? I swear summer just started, but it's almost already over. And here in the crafty world, we got to be one step ahead. And we're doing fall cards already. I picked this. It does get me a little excited. Of course, we all love the fall. I'm super, obviously, we all know, super excited for Christmas and, all the things, even though I don't want to do gifts. But, okay, enough about my TED Talk. Here I am. I have taken a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card, and I believe I cut off a half an inch for either cut off a half an inch or an inch. Give me a second to look at the card here and I'll let you guys know. Actually, I had the card right beside me somewhere. So that there is a border on each side of the card to let the pattern paper show through from this Whispers of Fall pattern paper. Loving that Brass and Bliss has started the 6x8 size. So that we can get 5x7 cards out of this. You can use it for scrapbooking, a lot of different things now instead of just doing the 6x6 pads, which I always thought were in the crafty world very awkward. Oh, coffee break. Didn't edit that out while everything went through the die cutting machine. I didn't actually speed this up for you guys because I wanted you to see how easy and quick this card actually came out. The footage for this card is 19 minutes and 52 seconds. I edited it down to about 16 minutes. So we cut out flipping through papers, that kind of stuff. But honestly, I did just want to show you that this card is an easy peasy one to get done. And you could probably do a good multiple of cards if you wanted to make a note set out of this card or wanted to do a gift set of this card. I think it's a really good one. I know a lot of people are like, what do we do with fall cards? Are we sending them? I mean, they could be a thank you cards. I know I did put at the end of this, you'll see I put like an autumn type of sentiment on this card. But honestly, guys, you could make this a thank you card, a sympathy card in the fall. You could make this a several different type of card base. It doesn't have to be like an autumn based card like that, you're not quite sure. But also just remember, like, making fall cards and actually putting a fall sentiment on it and just sending them out to people, sending them over to the senior centers, sending them out to just friends and family. Honestly, I understand that we want to always make sure that our cards are appreciated, and I hear a lot like, oh, I'll send the easy cards to this, and that's perfectly fine. This is an easy card. You're not spending a ton of time on. It doesn't take a ton of materials, all that kind of stuff. This is one of those cards. You just never know whose day you're going to brighten sending out a card in the mail, and they just never expect it. So I do that quite often for my friends. I probably need to do it even more often for just family in general. And I think like just detaching from the work and honestly just doing cards for yourself and for the crafty side of it is important for us to remember also. All right, off my TED Talk. We are using this Argyle, a pattern from, like I said, the Whispers of Fall. Okay, there we go. It is a half inch. Yeah, that's like a 1/4 inch on each side. I just wanted a sliver of that pattern paper to be showing through. So just a sliver. And honestly, using a paper pack for this and that one die, cutting it 3 times out of that one, and you don't have to get it, like perfectly right on every single card. This could be a totally, and then just setting up a good assembly line of ink blending all of your leaves. Honestly, I think that you could make 4 or 5 of these cards real quick and get them out. We used autumn, moss, and apricot for our colors here, and I just do a real quick ink blending on each one of these. Nothing too crazy. Right on my glass mat here, so it's easy cleanup. You can also do it on a piece of, like printer paper, so that way you could even get like even more crafty with this if you wanted to, and use some alcohol markers, or like create little ombres. You could also, technically, I know you have to cut it out of the white paper, but you could like ink blend a piece of white paper to make it all different colors, and then cut out your die cuts from that too, so that your leaves are all different colors too, like more of a, traditional, like one leaf is not all orange type thing. But I've kept it nice and simple here. We're keeping things nice and simple. All right, number 2. But yeah, I think that I even at this point need to get back to making. I also do markets where I sell a lot of my cards, and we're going to bounce back to that senior center one. I think I took a lot of my cards one afternoon over to a senior center, and I was actually there to sell them. And so many of those guys, those ladies especially, just loved the cards. And I got several different things, like putting kits together for senior citizens to put the cards together. Just sending in the cards already, with a nice little note in there type thing, because some of them just don't have family that come and see them all the time. And I think here coming up in November, I'm going to put out there to my pen pal group that I have set up that we're going to do a bulk. We're gonna find a card and mass produce them in sets of 5 or 10, and ship them out to a few senior centers to put a note in there to please, give to, seniors that don't have a ton of family that come in. I know here in my town, we have several senior centers, so we have a pick here of them. And I think that's one challenge I'm going to give to my pen pal group this year. We're not going to send cards to each other, because I think it will be a good transition for my pen pal group to do that. So, because Thanksgiving time is so busy, and, and then we're going to send out so many Christmas cards the next month, that I'm going to propose that to the group and see how what type of response I get from that. All right. We are using, like I said, back to our card here. We are using this autumn stamp off of the Sunflower Autumn stamp. I'll link it below for sure. I actually use the same stamp set, but the images of the stamp set in my next card, so it definitely got a lot of work. We are just using our gold. I use a Princess Gold embossing powder from Ranger, and you can see my super sophisticated setup. And then I think I had ink on that paper, and then it got on my card, so we're gonna have to deal with that. Now we're halfway through. I'm not restarting this card. You could simply just restart it and cut those back out. I'm not. Here my sentiment says autumn, the season that teaches us, I think the change can be beautiful. There we go. We're gonna work with that. So this whole time now I'm like, okay, how do I fix this black spot on my card? I don't even know where the ink came from. Like, I don't even know how that got there. I was kind of like pissed to say the least. I was like, ugh. And here in my head I was like, okay, wait, I know how we can fix this. We can definitely fix this. So we're gonna just keep on going. We're gonna heat set our stamp, or our embossing powder here. Lots of things out there right now of, do you emboss from the back? Do you emboss from the front? A lot of people say that you get a better, smoother emboss if you emboss from the back. I kind of think you do. I just always forget. I don't know. I always forget. I don't know. I like start from the back and then I go to the front and then it starts going and I just keep on going. All right, so here I was like, okay, the whole time like that I was embossing, here I'm like, okay, let's see if we can use a sand eraser. I know that people swear by these darn sand erasers, but for me, 9 times out of 10 it doesn't work. Unless I just get like a very little like fingerprint on there, it doesn't work. I'm pretty heavy-handed with inks and everything, so once an ink usually gets on my paper, it's there to stay. Sometimes it will lessen it by far, like, but then you can definitely like see the mark on the card, and I don't love that either. So instead, I'm going to try and fix it. Here I am like, okay, how do I line this up on my paper? We're just going to use a stencil. We're going to put the thing down just like if I was to cut out a title and it needed it to glue it down to my card. Use your back paper as a stencil. So we're not going to glue the white part down because I wanted to pop that up on foam to give it a little bit of dimension. There we go. So we're just going to use that white part as a stencil. I did put glue just straight in the middle, as you can see, of these leaves. Nothing like in those edges where, you know, the glue could seep out. And then I'm going to put those down. I guess I could have sped this part up a little bit for you guys. I hope you're not instant gratification type people that can't get through a little bit slower of a video. Normally I do speed everything up by about 200, by about double, like 1.5 to 2, even if I'm needing to explain a lot of things. But today I just figured, you know what? I wanted to slow it down. Like, I need time to slow down right now. And so we're gonna slow it down just a little bit. All right, we're gonna peel our air quote stencil down, and now we're going to make sure that all those bits and pieces are definitely glued down with our Barely Arts glue. There we go. A little spinny there. Again, we could have sped this part up, but we're gonna try and slow things down. We're gonna slow things down around here. All right, now we're gonna just use that, and then we're gonna put our foam tape all over the back of our white card base here. Oh, no. We're going to fix our spot. That's right. I'm sorry. We're going to fix our spot. My way to fix that, let's grudge up this card a little bit. So we're going to use our inks. We're going to put them down here on our glass board, and we're going to create more spots. We're just going to run with the messiness. And you know what? I honestly was pretty happy that this happened because I think that it added a bit more to the card. Yeah, you could have a nice, clean, simple card here, but we wanted to grudge it up a little bit. I mean, we didn't, but fate made us grudge a little bit. So a little bit of ink splatter here. I don't think I had quite enough ink. As you can see, I was like, it's not working very much. We need more. And I wanted to get some more different colors. So we just put some more ink down, a lot more water. There we go. Ooh, we need to wipe our brush, but we don't need that. There we go. And I didn't want it to be like huge ink blots. I just wanted a simple, like, we're just trying to disguise our mistake over there just a little bit. We're just trying to disguise that. There we go. Clean up our glass mat. That I just love glass mats. So easy, such easy cleanup. I mean, they can be detrimental too because you can have ink on there that you don't see, and then it gets all over your darn project. So I always make sure that my glass mat is nice and clean. Dry it off, and we're ready to go again. Bring our project back. And all the foam, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I don't think that I'm going to make it. I did not make it. I had to go and search for more foam for this card. All the foam, right? All the darn foam. I think that's one of my bigger supply expenses, you know, than like glue and let's see, like, I mean, otherwise, other than the like, stamps, dyes, ink pads, you know, that type of thing, like the little, you know, supplies is definitely foam. I even buy, I think that little thing was like one of those big mama like rolls of it, and I'm through that now. All right, there we go. We just placed that down. We made sure it was nice and in line there. Made sure, see, we're pulling that up. And then we'll put it on a card base, stamp on the inside, and you're ready to go. I loved how this came out. It's so simple, but a little grudgy and a ton of fall. I mean, I'm ready for it. You just need to turn your die. You could make them all the same way too, but I wanted it like it was, you know, kind of falling. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Definitely check out everything from Brass and Bliss. They have an amazing sale going on, and here is our final project. Thank you guys all so much, and I will see you in the next one.